Home sweet home Arizona, not for long. The Colorado Rockies coming in tonight, winners of 8 of their last 11 games and looking to complete a 3-game sweep. So the D-backs are turning to Josh Colmenter to defend home field before heading out of town on a long 3-city road trip. It's Arizona Diamondbacks baseball right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume and Bob Brenly along the way. It's the Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies, the finale of a 3-game series. The Rockies come in here leading the major leagues in hitting and home runs. And so, Bob, the Diamondbacks trying to keep pace here with, among others, Aaron Hill, who's hit in 5 straight ball games.
Yeah, Aaron Hill's really done a nice job over his last 7. After a slow start to the season, he's really picked it up. He's driven in 7 in those last 7 ball games. 11 hits. 5 of those have gone for extra bases. One thing we know about Aaron, if he's in a little bit of a funk to start the season, he's going to work hard until he's out of that funk, and he appears to have turned the corner.
Yeah, some of these Diamondback hitters really putting together some quality at-bats, trying to keep up with Colorado offensively. Among them, Miguel Montero. We've talked about how Miggy has really settled into that cleanup role. 10 RBIs in 13 games as the 4-hole hitter.
And has looked really good doing it. We showed you this little bit of video in the ball game last night. On the left, watch his legs, watch his feet and his knees. Look how much movement he had, taking that big uppercut swing. This year, much more balanced, hitting out of a crouch, seeing the ball much better. He's drawn 14 walks against only 10 strikeouts this season. Much better contact, spraying the ball to all parts of the field.
Really quality at bats. So the Diamondbacks trying to salvage the series finale here before heading out on the road and avoiding the sweep at the hands of the Rockies. It's Jordan Lyles on the mound for Colorado. And for the D-backs, it's Josh Colmenter. The Tomahawk is out there. He'll try to conquer Colorado. Cindy Brunson has more on that when we come back. You're watching the Arizona Diamondbacks only right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next, and by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with the purchase of a large drink.
Welcome back to Chase Field. Cindy Brunson with you as we are counting down to the series finale between the Rockies and the Diamondbacks here on this last day of April on Fox Sports Arizona. Josh Collmenter getting the ball for the D-backs as he tries to become the first member of the Arizona starting staff to have 2 home wins on this season, and manager Kirk Gibson needs him to be up to the task. He said pregame that he needs Collmenter to throw at least 100 pitches because the bullpen is taxed. Now, last outing, absolutely spectacular for Collmenter. 6 scoreless, 4 hits, 5 Ks, 98 pitches, 61 for strikes. And Gibson needs another outing like that out of Collmenter again. When he addressed the media pregame, Kirk Gibson said that Randall Delgado will not be available. Part of the reason why? Because this bullpen has been so taxed through the first 30 games of the season. We've got first pitch ready for you after the break here on Fox Sports Arizona. Let's send the Diamondbacks off with a win before they hit the road. The third time's gonna definitely be the charm. Diamondbacks baseball next here on Fox Sports Arizona.
Mound with Josh Collmenter, who's got his work cut out for him here tonight. The top 3 hitters in the National League are all Colorado Rockies. Charlie Blackmon, Troy Tulowitzki, and Justin Morneau all hitting .357 or better. All 3 are slugging over .600, including Tulo, whose slugging percentage is now over .750. And throw in the fact that Morneau's got a 13-game hit streak. Nolan Arenado has the longest active streak in the majors at 19 in a row. Boy, Bob, I hope Josh Collmenter hasn't looked at any of these stats.
Keep the ball out of the middle of the plate. That's what Josh Collmenter always tries to do. Here's Walt Weiss's lineup tonight. Charlie Blackmon at the top. Drew Stubbs, a hitting hero for the Rockies last night with that late homer against Addison Reed. Carlos Gonzalez in left. Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop. It'll be Justin Morneau at first base. Nolan Arenado with his 19-game hitting streak, the longest in the majors this season. 4 knocks in 2 games against the D-backs in this series. Jordan Pacheco once again doing the catching. DJ LeMahieu at second base, and Jordan Lyles, the right-hander, on the mound.
And your Arizona fourth starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks is Josh Collmenter. His 8th appearance of the season, his 4th start since he was moved from the bullpen back into the rotation. These are Josh's numbers for the season. As a starter, 1-2, a 3.38 ERA.
And I'm sure most of our fans are very familiar with Josh Collmenter by now. That over-the-top delivery. Throws a fastball that'll have some natural cut into a left-hander. Throws a straight changeup. And as a starter, he's been mixing in more of those slow Livan Hernandez curveballs.
Strike one to Charlie Blackmon. We're underway. Roof and panels open on a lovely night here in downtown Phoenix. Blackmon, the National League's leading hitter at .379, just ahead of Tulowitzki and Morneau. Now, in our keys to the game throughout this series, it has been one of the keys for the Diamondbacks, according to Bob Brenly. Sorry, Charlie. Keep him off the bases. There were some references to people on the Twitter, Bob, who didn't get it. We're dating ourselves a bit here.
Yeah, oh yeah. Charlie the Tuna. Sorry, Charlie. Well, it's worked. So far, Blackmon only one base hit in the series. He does have a couple of sacrifices in game one. A sac bunt and also a sacrifice fly to drive home a run, but he managed to keep him fairly quiet in this series.
1 for 5 with a single last night. That's his only hit in the series so far. Josh Colmenter coming off his first win of the season in his previous start. That was Friday against the Phillies right here at Chase Field when he was outstanding. But with his work cut out for him here tonight. And he starts off with a strikeout of Blackmon. One away. Time now for our mid-first bank defense. This is the Diamondback D behind Josh Colmenter.
Cody Ross once again in left field. Tony Campana out in center. Gerardo Parra in right field. It'll be Prado and Pennington on the left side of the infield tonight. Hill and Goldschmidt on the right side. The red-hot Miguel Montero behind the plate for right-hander Josh Colmenter.
Brings up last night's hitting hero. It's Drew Stubbs. Getting the start in center field after his home run to lead off the ninth last night proved to be the difference. We've seen Barnes out there. We saw Dickerson last night. Stubbs tonight. A lot of flexibility for Walt Weiss in his outfield. One and two.
First pitch out of the strike zone in the game for Josh Colmenter, just pounding away at those corners.
Hard to right, it's in front of Parra, and Stubbs is aboard with a one-out single.
Stubbs' home run in the ball game last night against Addison Reed came to the opposite field. His first base hit in the ball game here tonight comes to the opposite field. That's something he didn't do much of in Cincinnati. Maybe it had something to do with that little itty-bitty ballpark, but he was pretty much a dead pull hitter with the Reds.
A lot more room out there here at Chase. That brings up Carlos Gonzalez at 240 on the year. And the shift is on. Pennington, Hill, Goldschmidt all on the right side. Cargo first pitch swinging, hits it high and deep to right. Parra at the track, at the wall, and that ball is gone. A home run. Carlos Gonzalez, his fifth. It's 2-0 Rockies. Just the third home run given up this season by Josh Colmenter.
I believe I've ever seen the ball jump to right field quite the way it has in this series. Could have something to do with the swirling winds. I'm not sure exactly why, but we've seen a lot of what appeared to be routine fly balls to right field just continue to carry. That one ended up on the wrong side of the fence.
So the Diamondbacks on the wrong side of a 2-0 score, and here is Troy Tulowitzki. .376, second in the league in hitting behind Blackmon. Tulowitzki leading the league in runs scored, on base, slugging, OPS, and total bases.
As you know, partner, we get our daily stat packs with the National League and American League leaders in various categories, both offensively and pitching, defense, everything you would want. And they underline the players from the opposing team.
It's helpful.
Boy, there's lots of underlined categories under the National League leaders in offense. Man, I'm telling you, the Rockies are scattered all over this list.
Well, Tulowitzki's slugging percentage is staggering .753 coming into the ball game. 11 of his last 17 hits have gone for extra bases. including his 2-run homer last night. And he's got more walks than strikeouts this season. I mean, he is climbing up the charts. That's back over our heads. Roof and panels open, nice and cool, comfortable night in downtown Phoenix. Glad you're with us here at Chase Field on Fox Sports Arizona. Not quite as windy as last night. That was new territory. Very high, drifting near foul ground in left. Cody Ross might have room here. And he takes it away from a fan. Nice catch by Cody.
We're going to have a Bartman moment over there. See that fan reaching out. Fortunately, his eyesight's not real good. He missed it, and Cody was able to make the play right over against the wall. Boy, that Tulowitzki 750 slugging percentage you were talking about, the National League average this year is 382.
He's slugging 753.
Oh, jeez.
And then here's Morneau. I mean, it's just relentless. It comes at you in waves with these guys. Here's the third leading hitter in the National League at 357, right behind Blackman and Tulowitzki. And Justin Morneau with a 13-game hitting streak. And he's put up some impressive numbers during that streak. He's hitting everything lately. 13 games in a row with a base hit, during which he's got 19 RBIs, 5 homers, 6 doubles, a 396 average. 2-2. That's a run, man. 13 in a row with 5 homers and 19 RBIs.
Unfortunately, it seems like every series we run into somebody who's in the midst of one of those hot streaks. Adrian Gonzalez, the Dodgers couldn't get him out, couldn't keep him in the ballpark. Take your pick from this team, yeah.
Instead of underlining, we're highlighting here. The other two names on that list, Phillies and Dodgers, we've seen those, as Bob mentioned. Morneau grounds out. That ends the top of the first. Rockies take an early 2-0 lead. get out of here with a win before a long three-city road trip. It's off to San Diego, Milwaukee, and back to Chicago, this time to play the White Sox for Gerardo Parra and company. This is the lineup for Kirk Gibson.
Gerardo Parra at the top, Martin Prado batting second, Paul Goldschmidt in his customary 3 spot. Miguel Montero last night 2 for 5 with a double. He's hit in 10 of his last 11. Aaron Hill, we talked about in the open, he's swinging a hot bat. Cody Ross, Cliff Pennington, Tony Campana, and Josh Coleman to the pitcher, bringing up the rear.
The right-hander Jordan Lyles on the mound for the Rockies, and he'll face Gerardo Parra to lead off the bottom of the first. Parra 265 on the year. He's hit in 3 straight. Jordan Lyles on a short list National League pitchers so far this year with at least 4 starts, no losses, and an ERA under 3. Dan Herron, Zach Greinke, Irvin Santana, and our Arizona Ford starting pitcher, Jordan Lyles, his 6th start, 3-0 at 2.93.
Yeah, 2 of those starts came at Coors, where he's a perfect 2-0 with an ERA of 0.66. He'll sink his fastball, he'll cut it occasionally, also throws a curve, occasional straight changeup.
The former Houston Astro, acquired from the Astros in December along with Brandon Barnes, the outfielder, for Dexter Fowler. This one is high and deep to the corner at right center. Drew Stubbs right where we left off last night. Parra gave it a ride, but it's allowed out number 1.
Drew Stubbs is in center field. Let's take a look at our Colorado Rockies mid-first bank defense. Carlos Gonzalez in left once again. Drew Stubbs in center. Charlie Blackmon over in right field. Nolan Arenado at third base. Troy Tulowitzki, DJ LeMahieu make up the double play combo up the middle with Justin Morneau at first. Jordan Pacheco doing the catching for right-hander Jordan Lyles.
Boy, Eric Chavez hit that shot last night late in the ball game to almost that same spot where Stubbs tracked it down, and that's where we start tonight offensively for the D-backs as Martin Prado looks at strike 1. Prado at 245. He drew a walk in a pinch hit appearance in the 8th inning last night on what was a scheduled off day. This past Dave McKay at first.
McKay constantly checking the defense, seeing where the outfielders are positioned. Sometimes outfielders will move from pitch to pitch, a couple of steps this way, a couple of steps that way, and part of your job as a first base coach is to know when there's a gap out there and you could possibly send your guy on to second base.
Will they move according to the count?
Yeah, according to the count. You get into a hitter's count where a guy's a little more likely to pull. You'll see that center fielder maybe go a little bit more straight up, but yeah, if you ball behind in the count and the pitcher's ahead, you're going to be a little more defensive, more likely to hit the ball to the opposite field. So you'll see the outfielders move a step or 2 depending on the count.
So as an outfielder, I guess you have to check in after every pitch.
Oh yeah, and you've got to communicate with your corner outfielders if you're the center fielder, in this case Drew Stubbs, because if you move, they need to move along with you to cover that gap.
Carlos Gonzalez in left, Charlie Blackmon in right, and Drew Stubbs in center. Two and two on Martin Prado. It's full. Reaches down and pokes it into right. Charlie Blackmon can't get there. And it gets behind him, and we'll see how fast Prado can run. Ben Sherlock is going to stop him there. Second triple this season for Martin Prado. And the Diamondbacks trying to answer the cargo homer.
First baseman, number 44.
It's not a bad pitch from Jordan Lyles down there below the knees on the outer third of the plate. Prado just went down and sliced it down into that right field corner where Charlie Blackmon came up empty. Not only his second triple of the year, second triple of this series. And the other one came in game one, a line drive to the gap in left center.
Blackman's got really good speed out there, usually tracks those down, but that was really well hit into that corner. And so Prato's at third with one out. Paul Goldschmidt lifts it in the air, but that one is slicing foul. Goldie batting .319 and leading the National League in hits. He's got 4 hits in this series. That one is chopped to third. Arenado will come home, and they get Prato at the plate. Arenado already charging in toward the plate to field that one. And so it was a fairly routine throw for him. And the Gold Glover at third for the Rockies throws out Prato at home.
We saw him get a force play at home last night on a similar situation. He's playing back. I mean, the Rockies were conceding the run right there, but Arenado, his momentum was carrying him right toward the plate, so he decides to come home and try to cut off that run and keeps the D-backs off the board.
And you can see Pacheco did a very good job once he had the ball there to get that foot in front of home plate and get the tag on Prato. So Goldie at first, 2 down. Here's Miguel Montero. And there's still a lot of ambiguity there in terms of the catcher. Okay, where can I stand? Can I stand here yet? Is this close enough? I have to provide the runner a lane. But if I have the ball, I can stand in front. So what happens when all 3 arrive at the same time?
A collision. I mean, MLB is fully aware they're not going to be able to eliminate home plate collisions. They just want to avoid the ones where the guy rounds third base with every intention of steamrolling that catcher. Give the runner an area to slide to and then take it away once you have possession of the ball.
And Pacheco executed that one very nicely. A ball and a strike to Miguel Montero. 2-1. 2 more hits for Miggy last night. He's hit safely in 4 straight and 10 of his last 11. And he's up to 280 on the year. Oh! 2-2. Couple of third basemen having a conversation.
I'll tell you, the more we see of Nolan Arenado, the more impressed I am with this young kid. I mean, obviously, he's great hands at third base, strong throwing arm, really developing hitter. Looks like he's going to be a good one, but his instincts are so good. I mentioned last night with the bases loaded, Rockies were playing back at double play depth. He got a hard ground ball to third, decided to come home rather than turn the double play up the middle of the field. Kept the D-backs off the board in that inning, and then again tonight, playing back, conceding the run, but realized the timing of the play gave him the opportunity to cut off the runner.
Scary thing, he just turned 23 about 2 weeks ago. Montero sends Stubbs back to the track in center, but he's got it. Diamondbacks get a 1-out runner at third, but cannot get a run across, and after one, they trail it 2-0.
You here in the home half as the Diamondbacks try to cut into the Rockies 2-0 lead, give Josh Comenter some run support. Bronson Arroyo pitched spectacularly well. His best outing Saturday against the Phillies, 6 1/3, 2 earned, a couple of strikeouts. But during that outing, he told me he felt spent, wasn't feeling well at all. In fact, dating back to Chicago, he had some blood work done on Monday. Those results came back today, and all is clear. There was nothing wrong, no sign of valley fever. In fact, whatever little virus was bothering him is gone, and he feels great as we look forward to the road trip. Fellas, back to you.
Thank you, Cindy. That's great news on Bronson Arroyo. Now that the back is cleared up, he said earlier this week, he told Cindy the back is fine. That's no longer an issue, but he had this virus that was really causing him some headaches and some fatigue. So all clear on that. So great news for Bronson.
Real good news. It was good to finally see him throwing the ball the way we expected him to. You know, nibbling at the corners, changing speeds, throwing that breaking ball, changing arm angles. We had no idea how fatigued and tired he was during that outing because he threw so well.
That is skied to center. Tony Campana drifting toward right up in that wind, but he's got it. And Arenado is retired to lead off the second.
Catcher number 58, Jordan.
Brings up Jordan Pacheco, the catcher. Josh outstanding in his last start against the Phillies, as we mentioned. 4 hits over 6 scoreless. No walks, 5 strikeouts. Got up to 98 pitches in that ball game, and as Cindy told us earlier, Kurt Gibson with Randall Delgado not available tonight. Needs 100 pitches from Josh. And so we'll see if he can shake off that 2-run homer by Cargo. He's behind on Pacheco, 1-0. Another night off for Willeen Rosario. The Rockies' usual catcher. Still got that sore hand. But they got the all clear on the MRI earlier this week. It's a bruised left hand for Rosario. No fracture, so he's day to day. He hurt the hand swinging the bat last weekend.
And he is available to play. Walt Weiss would definitely like to stay away from him for a few more days until that bruised hand completely heals up, but he is available if necessary.
And Charlie Culberson would be the emergency catcher. Comenter ahead 1-2. Pacheco 1 for 8 in the series so far. He's caught all 3 games. And his bat is maybe the only one in this lineup struggling as of late. Pacheco went 3 for 4 in his first game of the year, but he's hit only 160 since. That is driven hard to right center. Campana, long run. Can't quite get there. It bounces off the wall. And Pacheco stops at second base with his 4th double. Boy, that one got up in that wind and really carried over toward right field.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell because the flags aren't really moving that much out in center field, and really that's the only indicator in the ballpark that there is any wind. But everything that's hit to the right side of the field in this series has just carried so much better than you would anticipate off the bat. Even that one short hopped the wall out there in right center.
That's the Coors Light strike zone out there in right center. Great spot to watch the ball game. The wind off the mountains. DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman. There's the strike, 0-1. LeMahieu at 305. He's driven in 10. He's hit in 5 straight. Comenter ahead 0-2. 1 out. Pacheco, the runner at second. This is drifting out of play.
And as you might expect, the Rockies have done some damage with runners in scoring position in this series. They're 6 for 16 combined, 3 doubles, a homer, driven in 8 in those situations. Diamondbacks just can't seem to come up with that big hit with runners in scoring position.
And the Rockies already have 2 extra base hits, the 2-run homer by Cargo in the first, and now the 1-out double by Pacheco in the second. Mayhew 1 for 5 last night with a single. He struck out 3 times. He's got 3 hits in the series. A ball and 2 strikes. Pacheco takes off for third. The throw from Montero is on the dugout side of the bag, so he's in there at third.
Good read down there at second base by Pacheco. I'll tell you, catchers may not be the fastest guys on the field, but they react well when they see that ball in the dirt because they know how hard it is to block that ball, recover, pick it up, try to make an accurate off-balance throw. And that time Pacheco got a great jump and easily beats the throw to third.
And having come up as an infielder, he does not have catcher's speed on the bases. He's a pretty good athlete out there. So it's a 2-2 count with Pacheco at third. Infielded on the grass. This is there, and it's full 3-2. In the air to right. Para. Pacheco will tag. Here he comes. Here's the throw, and he is safe. Another rocket from Parra, the 2-time Gold Glover in right, but Pacheco beat it, and it's 3-0 Colorado. And they say he left too early. So they appeal. And that's the end of the inning. We'll take a look when we come back.
Please turn your attention to the left field picnic pavilion. I'm hanging out here with the lovely Christina.
Left the bag at third too early. This is one of those plays that is not subject to expanded review because you have to sync up the cameras. In Major League Baseball, not quite sure that you can get a guaranteed sync every time, but we've got our time code synced up, so let's give you a look.
Yeah, thank goodness. It's a huge break for the Diamondbacks here. Ball is in the glove of Gerardo Parra. The foot still on the base by Jordan Pacheco. Diamondbacks catch a huge break and take a run off the board right there.
Got the foot in to just beat the throw there on the tag for Montero. Walt Weiss was out there to argue, but that play is not subject to expanded review. It's one of those plays like the neighborhood play. There are a couple others that do not apply. So take the run off the board. It's 2-0. And the Diamondbacks will open up with Aaron Hill in the bottom of the second against Jordan Lyles. And again, the reason that's not reviewable is they want to make sure that you get the camera sync, and there's different crews and equipment at all these games, and they've done the best they can to make sure everyone has the same stuff. But because you're not guaranteed to lock up two cameras at exactly the same instant frame, they say, well, we'll just leave that alone for now.
You clearly see on the replay that we had, and we synced it as close as we could. We feel we were pretty much right on it, but just a matter of hundredths of seconds makes all the difference in the world on a play like that.
And we can do 30 frames per second, but in this first year of expanded instant replay, they don't feel comfortable with the equipment to make what could be a critical call, taking a run off the board in a play just like that. 3-0 to Aaron Hill. We talked about Aaron at the top of the show. He is a key bat in this lineup with Mark Trumbo out. And Aaron has put together a nice 5-game hit streak. He is 7 for his last 17 up there, including 4 extra base hits. And he drives that to center. It backs up Stubbs, but he's got rid. One away. There's Cody Ross.
Left field, number 7, Cody Ross.
Small consolation when you're trailing by 2 in the second inning, but there have been some well-struck balls already in this game by Diamondbacks hitters. They look like they're getting a real good read on Jordan Lyles and barreling up some pitches, unfortunately, hitting him to the deep part of the park.
Cody 3 for 35 to open the year. He struck out in a pinch hit appearance in the 8th inning last night. And it was interesting that you've got Ross sitting behind Hill, because Bob and I were here early this afternoon, and down in the batting cage taking early hitting well before BP was Cody Ross. And kind of supervising, I guess, in a sense, was Aaron Hill. Aaron would stand behind the cage and watch Cody take some swings. Then he would stand on the left-hand batter's box side of the cage and watch Cody swing. And the two had sort of a running dialogue throughout the early hitting.
You get different angles to see different things depending on what it is Cody was working on this afternoon. But yeah, we talk about it all the time. Sometimes your teammates are the best batting coach, because you know, they're used to watching your at bats. They see when things are a little out of sync, and Aaron Hill was commenting on every swing that Cody Ross took this afternoon.
Called strike 3, 2 down.
While we have a moment, let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the game tonight. We're going with a little Bob Seger theme. Turn the page in what has been a historically bad month of April for the D-backs. They'll be glad to turn the calendar. And against the wind has really worked against the Diamondbacks in this series in their own home ballpark. That jet stream blowing out to right center and right field has really benefited the Rockies.
Cliff Pennington looks at ball one. We dated ourselves with Sorry Charlie, and I don't know if Seager's going to get you any love from the 18 to 22 demo.
Well, we're counting on the fact that there's enough old rockers out there that remember Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. They had a great tune called Get Out of Denver. Most visiting teams are anxious to get out of Denver.
I know we were when it was, what, the second week of April. 3-0 now to Pennington, who's hitting .265 on the year. That's the second 3-0 count in this inning for Lyles. Ball 4. First walk issued today by Jordan Lyles. That brings up Tony Campana.
Tony Campana.
Don't forget the first cup of coffee show coming up in 2014 on Sunday, 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Sit down with Mark Trumbo down at Chloe's Corner in downtown Phoenix. They take good care of us down there. Tony at 170 on the year. He's in a 1 for 27 right now. Looks at a strike. Campana had that big day in San Francisco April 10th when he went 4 for 6 and played such a key role in that D-backs 6-5 win over the Giants in 10 innings. But since then, he's hit under 100 in 16 games. All right, back to Lyles. He strands the 2-out walk. We are through 2. The Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 2-0. Chase Field, Saturday, May 17. D-backs and Dodgers, first 20,000 fans get the Gerardo Parra bobblehead. It's courtesy of St. Joseph's Hospital and Medical Center. And get the most bang for your buck with the D-backs value pack. That includes a bleacher ticket, a hot dog or a Subway sandwich, regular Pepsi, a free cookie, only $21. For more information, visit dbacks.com/value. The Gerardo Parra bobblehead is up here in our booth in its usual spot, kind of overseeing things as Jordan Lyles steps in and takes strike one. This is the Parra bobble up in our booth here. Looks good. Trying to find the right bobblehead to kind of turn this losing skid around. Went with J.J. Putz the other night. Went old school. Got a J.J. bobblehead. That didn't work. And we had a good run with Patrick Corbin, but the Parra one trying to change our luck here. 1-2.
To get them all out at the same time.
That's right. Just bury him with numbers.
That's right.
Remember last year we had the Wade Miley Garden Gnome.
The Garden Gnome brought us some good games.
The Garden Gnome had a tough run. Our highly unreliable staff member actually tried to leave it at Alcatraz before the Gnome had a bounce back a couple of weeks. We've got a few old broken ones back. What's this one? That one is hit high and deep to left center field and out of here. Jordan Lyles, the pitcher, has homered, and it's 3-0 Colorado. And that was a no-doubter.
He hit that ball like he knew what he was doing. Belt high fastball out over the plate. Even opposing pitchers put a good swing on that one. Lyles absolutely crushed that ball.
Cole Mentor had given up only 2 home runs all year. He's given up 2 tonight in 2+ innings. And And here's the National League's leading hitter, Charlie Blackmon. So that run that came off the board on the Pacheco tag play is quickly put back up there by Lyles. Charlie Blackmon kind of didn't believe Ron Culpa there. Beautiful night in downtown Phoenix, Legends Entertainment District. 0-2. Blackmon shoots it the other way, and that's a fair ball. Cody Ross tracks it down in the corner, and Charlie Blackmon stops at second with his 7th double. So the Rockies have opened the third with a home run and a double against Josh Colmenter.
Blackman's had trouble with that Josh Colmenter changeup. Decided to just really wait a long time, let that ball get deep into the hitting zone, and slices it down into that left field corner for his 7th double of the season.
Talked about the way these guys slug and their slugging percentage. They've already got 2 doubles and 2 homers tonight. Drew Stubbs. Bunts it to the third base side of the mound. Colmenter is on it. Blackmon moves up 90 feet. And there's one away.
Left fielder, Carlos Gonzalez.
So here's Cargo, who homered in the first.
Or didn't even get all of that ball. Looked like he hit it out near the end of the bat, but cast it high in the air into those swirling winds and just does sneak it over the wall and right.
Funny, over his previous 16 games, Cargo had just 3 RBIs and only 3 extra base hits. He'd been going through something of a power void, but that ended with that home run in the first, his 5th of the year. The shift is on again. 3 infielders on the right side. There's a ball, 1-0.
Talk about a pick your poison situation. This entire lineup is a pick your poison situation. Who do you go after? Who do you pitch around? How many bases do you have open available to pitch around, guys?
3-0. Good luck with that.
Tulowitzki does give you the righty on righty matchup, but it hasn't seemed to bother him too much.
Not much does. He flying out to left his first time. The 3-0. Hold on, Cargo. So Colmenter, who they're hoping to get 100 pitches out of tonight, is at 50 right now through 2 1/3. As Ron Culpa calls the high strike. 50 pitches, 34 for strikes. There's the walk.
With all these Rockies raking the way they have been, we thought we'd take a look at teammates finishing first and second in on-base plus slugging percentage. That was part of that '89 Giants team. Kevin Mitchell and Will Clark just pounding opposing pitchers into submission. Hank Aaron, Eddie Matthews, pretty good combo, and I'm not sure about those last guys. Ruth and Gehrig.
Yeah, what'd they ever do?
Yeah.
Charlie Blackmon is the runner at third. Carlos Gonzalez at first. 1 out. Here's Tulowitzki. This is inside, 1-0. Tulowitzki has reached base safely in 8 of his 10 plate appearances in this series. So far, 2 homers, 2 doubles. He's singled. He's walked 3 times. He's scored 3 times. He's got 5 RBIs. 1-1.
Just doesn't get cheated. Belt high fastball out over the plate at 86. That's not a exceptionally big swing by Tulo. He takes a big swing every time. He lets it go.
One and two. He's a big guy up there at 6'3", 215. All these Rockies infielders are. This might be the tallest infield in recent memory. LeMahieu's a big guy. Arenado, obviously Morneau at first. A ball and 2 strikes.
Tulowitzki's had 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position in this series. Double and a homer, driven in 4.
423 with runners in scoring position. That's on a play. And he's got 22 career home runs against the Diamondbacks, which is his most versus any team in the major leagues. He's homered 8 times here at Chase. That one is behind Miguel Montero. Here comes Blackman, and he will score. Gonzalez moves up 90 feet. It's 4-0 Rockies. Comenter spiked that one, and it cost him a run.
Just left enough room in that 5-hole between the legs. Down low, snuck through. You see Blackman sliding across with the 4th run of the game for the Rockies.
2-2. He did not go, says Ed Hickox at first. So it's full on Tulowitzki with Cargo at second. Ball 4, second walk in the inning issued by Comenter, and the pitch count is rising. Randall Delgado is not available tonight. Keep in mind they used Perez, Thatcher, Ziegler, and Reed last night. And Mike Harkey will go out there and try to slow things down a bit. Mark Reed, the bullpen catcher, jumps into action as the bullpen phone rings. You'd think it would be Cahill in this spot just to eat up some innings if Comenter really hits a wall here. Yep, there's Trevor Cahill.
You might actually see a double switch in the 3rd inning of a ball game should they have to go to Cahill. The pitcher spot is due to lead off in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Tony Campana made the final out in the 2nd. You could easily double switch with A.J. Pollock or Ender Inciarte, the newest D-back.
Yeah, Ender Inciarte, who they really like a lot, a terrific, speedy defensive player with a big arm and a promising left-hand bat, called up today from AAA Reno. Roger Kieschnick was sent down. And so that's an option. But Josh right now with 58 pitches and his hands full, 2 on, 1 out, 2 runs in the inning. And here's Justin Morneau, who grounded out his first time.
Watch that first pitch. Morneau loves to attack that first delivery.
Right on cue. Hara. Runners hold. That's the 2nd out.
Coming into play tonight, Morneau was 6th in the National League swinging at the first pitch. 45.5% of the time he likes to attack that first pitch.
Make sure you get the right size. Got some great stuff in there down at the D-backs team shop at Chase Field. The Goldie jerseys always go fast. I need a medium. Is there a medium? Nolan Arenado A 19-game hitting streak. He flied out his first time. Arenado during his 19-game streak is hitting .364. He's at .310 for the year. Third in the National League in hits behind Goldie and Charlie Blackmon. That ball is hit high and deep to left. It is carrying, and it will die at the track in the glove of Cody Ross. And Pullminter strands two. It's 4-0 Rockies as we head to the home half of the third. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up for the D-backs, Martin Prado.
Fox Sports Arizona, D-backs with some work to do, trailing the Rockies by a count of 3-0. I'm here behind the on-deck circle for the Diamondbacks with head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils, Herb Sendek, men's basketball coach. Thanks so much for joining us. You're coming off a pair of 20-win seasons. How's your off-season going?
Well, we've been busy trying to finish up our recruiting, and it's great to get out to the ballpark tonight and support our Diamondbacks.
You're usually a fear the fork guy, I know that, but you have had, during your tenure with Arizona State, some struggles, some seasons that were kind of forgettable and made the fan base a little nervous. What advice would you give to Kurt Gibson and the rest of the leadership here?
Well, you just have to honor the process. I know they have a great vision. They have tremendous leadership with Derek Hall and the rest of the front office staff. And you know, sometimes in sports there's peaks and valleys, but when you have great leadership and you have a plan and you honor the process, good things can happen.
Absolutely. Good things have been happening to your basketball program in particular. How do you build on the recent success of these couple of 20-win seasons in a row?
Well, I think our program has great momentum right now, and there's a lot of excitement around Sun Devil basketball, not just here locally, but I think nationally as well. We're really excited about the team we're putting together for next season. Before you know it, it'll be here. So we'll try to build on the momentum we have.
And the conference isn't getting any easier. You started as a Pac-10 guy. It's now Pac-12. Of course, Arizona always formidable and your natural rival. We've got new coaches in California and up at Washington State as well. Your expectations for this season?
Yeah, I think our conference is in the conversation for the premier league in the nation. This past season, it was incredible when you look at the balance and the depth and the quality of teams. And I expect it to be the same moving forward into next season.
And, of course, you're a Diamondbacks fan through and through. Is this your first time to the ballpark this year?
First time this year, but I try to make it down every year. Grew up in Pittsburgh as a Pirate fan, but since moving out west here, have certainly embraced the D-backs and love coming out to the ball game.
We'd love to have you. He is Coach Herb Sendek of the Arizona State Sun Devils. Thanks so much for taking the time, and good luck this season. Fellas, back to you.
Thank you, guys. Gerardo Parra in there with one out in the third. Sun Devils had some exciting ball games this year. Jordan Lyles ahead 0-2 after he homered, his second career homer in the top of the inning. His first season as a Rocky after coming over from the Houston Astros. And we've talked about how the consensus was the Rockies didn't get enough for Dexter Fowler in that deal, but they got Brandon Barnes and Lyles. Barnes has played very well for them in the outfield, and Lyles, this guy's 3-0 with a 2.93 ERA in 5 starts. So the Rockies liking the way that trade has gone so far. 2-2. Right back to the mound.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
The pre-at-bat routine of Martin Prado. He tripled his first time. It's not easy to get something in the air against Jordan Lyles. He can get a lot of ground ball outs. He's not a big strikeout guy, but he's shown pretty fair command this year, and he's got a heavy 2-seam sinker that opposing hitters just beat into the ground.
You know, almost 3 ground ball outs for every fly ball out this year for Jordan Lyles.
And it's a heavy one too. It comes in low 90s, bearing down and in on the right-hand hitters. And Lyles likes to throw that sinker to opposing righties. He said they can't get it over the fence if they hit over the top of the ball. And when you do that, you get those choppers, those little rollers, dribblers. They stay in the infield.
With the breaking ball that time, I think that was the cutter, actually, the hard cutter at 87. That was the breaking ball at 82.
There you go. That's a big reason why they liked him. He's only 23 years old. Houston kind of gave up on him. He's content to let his fielders behind him clean up those grounders, so he's a good fit for Coors Field.
And just like we've seen from Trevor Cahill and some of the Diamondbacks sinker ball pitchers, occasionally those ground balls are going to find holes. But Jordan Lyles so far this season has enticed the opposition to hit the ball on the ground right at his defenders more often than not.
3 balls and a strike to Martin Prado. Ball 4. Second walk issued by Lyles. Hey fans, now's the time. Tweet us your photo using the old hashtag AZFanPhoto. Your chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by our friends at AT&T. Bob Brentley, the Governor Greg Schulte will peruse and come up with a winner tonight. We'll have it for you later in the ball game. Just use the hashtag AZFanPhoto. Spending the 4th anniversary with the D-backs. Ball 1 to Goldie. Hit into a fielder's choice his first time. That is well hit to the corner and right. Blackmon near the line. It's a foul ball. He's sliced into foul territory. Some D-backs fans giving Charlie a hard time out there.
Hey, he took kind of a funny route to that ball. I mean, Blackmon plays a lot of center field as well, but when you're a corner outfielder and a guy hits the ball to the opposite field, it's always going to die quicker than you think it is. It's because of the side rotation on the ball. Blackmon took a little deep line, and by the time he realizes he was way out of position, he couldn't recover quickly enough.
Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie.
A ball and a strike. It's nice to have a recurring theme throughout the series. Well, Jordan Lyles has held the opposition to 2 earned runs or fewer in 3 of his 5 starts. And he goes deep into ball games. He's gone 7 full in each of his last 2 times out. He is not a big strikeout guy. But as we mentioned, pretty good command. Has not issued more than 2 walks in any start this year. That is on the ground. There's the Gold Glover, Nolan Arenado. He throws out another Gold Glover at first. Nolan Arenado, you can see why they're so excited about him in Colorado. And through 3, it's 4-0 Rockies.
The Arizona Diamondbacks would like to thank all.
Rockies 4-0 as we start the 4th. Fans, check out FoxSportsArizona.com for all the online local sports coverage you will not find anywhere else. Like Jack McGruder's post-game analysis and clubhouse reaction, Randy Hill examines 5 potential offseason targets for the Suns, and the Cardinals may be looking for linebackers in next week's NFL draft. You ever see that movie Draft Day? You were talking about going to see that.
Not yet. We were planning on going last homestand, but something came up and we didn't make it. I'm looking forward to seeing that, though.
Yeah. Kind of the NFL answer to Moneyball.
Yeah.
Jordan Pacheco leads off the 4th. Roller to 3rd, right to Prado.
I've said it throughout this series. There's really no breather inning against the Colorado Rockies. Normally, you face a 7, 8, 9 hitter in the opposing lineup. You like your chances of getting through the inning unscathed, but you got a couple guys hiding down there that are hitting near or over 300, including DJ LeMahieu hitting 305 coming into play tonight.
LeMahieu's a guy that'll bat second from time to time, too. He can hit in the top of the order. He hit second last night. Here's a strike, 0-1. Mayhew, in fact, over his last 17 games, is hitting .345. Over the head of Colementor, it bounces up the middle. Tough play for Cliff Pennington, and he throws him out. Gorgeous play by Penny. He won't come up in any conversation about best defensive shortstops in baseball, but he's right there with the best of them.
Look how he ran around that ball. He actually ran past it, so he was fielding it on his backhand side where his throwing hand is, so he could get rid of that ball a little bit quicker. Knew he didn't have much time. Nicely done. A lot of guys would have just gone to the forehand side and fielded the ball way out to the left, and then you got to drag the ball all the way back across your body while you get turned to make the throw. Penny did all that before he even received the ball. Got in a good throwing position.
Here's the pitcher, Jordan Lyles, and as we found out his last time up, you got to be careful. Hit one out of here to left center off Colementor. His first time up, his second career home run. He homered in September of 2012 against Milwaukee. Pennington one more time. Colemencher, 3 ground balls. It's a 1-2-3-4. He's retired 5 in a row. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Aaron Hill coming up in the 4th for the Diamondbacks.
By signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
They had an issue earlier this week where the piece got stuck.
Yeah.
Cleared that up. No pine tar anymore. Bottom of the 4th at Chase Field. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 4-0. Miguel Montero, Aaron Hill, and Cody Ross 4, 5, and 6 against Jordan Lyles, who so far has given up only 1 hit. That was a Prado triple in the first. Diamondbacks could not get the run across.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every D-backs win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Miggy flying out to center his first time. And we talked at the top of the show about what a difference he has made in this lineup, especially in the cleanup spot. "13 starts, batting 4th this year, a .326 average as the cleanup hitter. 10 RBIs in 13 games. He is slugging almost .490 from this spot. And that was one of the keys we mentioned in spring training, that you, with a predominantly right-hand hitting team, you need that lefty bat in there somewhere in the middle of the order. And that had to be Miggy, and he had to hit well enough to do that, and he's answered the call here.
You like to have that consistency in the middle of the lineup. It's been pretty much a revolving door at the top and bottom of the batting order for Kirk Gibson, but with Goldie in the 3 spot, Miguel Montero settling into that 4 hole, and Aaron Hill swinging the bat the way he's been swinging lately, gives you a solid middle of the lineup.
2 balls and a strike to Miggy. Nicely played there by Kirk Farley down the right field line. There's Kirk in the khakis.
All right, give it to a kid. Attaboy.
Ron Pennington waits down the left field line, ready to pounce. 2-2. Miggy shoots that into left and right at Cargo. One away.
Well, that's just buzzard luck right there. First time up, he hits a fly ball to the deepest part of the ballpark, to the warning track. It gets caught. This time he goes the opposite way with a line drive right at the left fielder.
And it's funny, that's the same bug that was biting him all last year, and we've talked about how his numbers have improved, but he's still making outs like this. He can't quite shake that luck, despite the fact the numbers are up so much. Imagine if those start falling in.
Yeah, I'm telling you, hitting coach and manager, you'll take that all year long. I mean, they're going to start dropping in. They're not going to catch everything. You continue to make good, solid contact on the barrel and drive that ball all around the ballpark. They will start to drop in.
The BABIP gods will eventually smile on you.
We certainly hope so.
That's on a play, 1-1. Aaron flying out his first time. Aaron Hill really starting to get back to being an impact bat in this lineup. Last 7 games, he's got 7 RBIs. And he has raised his batting average by 50 points.
11 hits in those 7 games. 5 of them have gone for extra bases.
Slugging. And that one is in the glove of Tulowitzki. It was laced and headed to left center field, but Tulo, we talked about that tall infield here. These are some big guys.
Left fielder, Cody Ross.
Well, once again, as a hitting coach, all you can do is say, hey, hang with him. Got a good pitch, hit a line drive, took a nice play by Tulowitzki to get you. Stay right there. Nothing wrong with that at bat.
You got Tulo, who's 6 feet 3 inches tall. You've got Arenado down there at third. He's 6'2". Morneau is 6'4" at first. And then DJ LeMahieu is 6'4" at second base. So these guys would make a pretty fair basketball team. Get them together with Herb Sendek.
There you go. You know, they used to do that in the offseason. Teams would have put together a basketball team that would go around and play charities against faculties or what have you to raise money for local charities. That's a thing of the past. That no longer happens. But Rockies could run a pretty good hoops team at you.
Herb's wondering, are they still eligible? I think we can get a year out of that guy.
1 and done.
0-2. Well, there was the infamous injury that Aaron Boone suffered playing basketball in the offseason. A couple of other guys. So when you start getting into $100 million contracts, the pickup games go away.
That was my main conditioning in the offseason, was playing hoops, running the court up and down, back and forth. I was never much for running. I couldn't see just going out running back and forth on the warning track from foul pole to foul pole. That didn't excite me too much, but running up and down a basketball court didn't seem like you were running, because you were involved in the game.
All right, to Morneau. 3 up, 3 down in the 4th. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 4-0.
I have friends. I talk to people around baseball. I talk to my coaches, my kids. Or, you can't. You can only spend so much time on things. So you go to things that make you happy in life, and you take yourself away from it. It might mean I sleep a little extra. People say, "You getting any rest?" I get a ton of rest. I lay down. I get a ton of rest. I'm rested and ready to go.
Manager Kirk Gibson with our Geico quote of the game as we start the top of the 5th inning, where the Diamondbacks are trying to hold the Rockies to that 4-0 lead. They try to come back later on in this game. We asked Kirk Gibson pregame about how he's processing this 30-game start to the season with only 8 wins. We were asking if it was eating at him, bothering him when he gets home, and how he vents and who he vents to for those losses. He said it's a process, and he has several folks that he talks to throughout the major leagues, including his wife, who's a great sounding board as well. Because this is what Diamondbacks Nation is going through, guys. We're all a part of this. We want this team to succeed, and we have to process it when they don't. Fellas, back to you.
Well, it's a collective. There's no question, BB, and you can speak to that because you were here for the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Oh, yeah. The highest highs were a lot more fun. I'm glad Gibby's getting his sleep. I had a little trouble from time to time, especially in that 04 season. You know, you go home at night and you're racking your brain trying to figure out if there's something more you can do. Can we rearrange the lineup? Can we rest some guys? Can we play other guys? How can we snap out of this?
Campana and Parra converge in right center. It's Campana who's got it, and Colementor has settled in nicely. He's retired 7 straight. Were you one of those guys that had a cot in the office when you sleep there all the time, like John Gruden or somebody?
Well, my predecessor, Buck Showalter, had the foresight to put a Murphy bed in the manager's office here because, as you well know, Buck, he was a stickler for detail, was at the ballpark early. He stayed late, so he thought it would be a good idea to have that Murphy bed just in case. I only used it one time. It was actually against the Cardinals in the division series. Came to the ballpark, had a little bit of a bug, and started to feel really bad as we got close to batting practice time. So turned off the lights, shut the door. It took about an hour power nap in the office. Felt a lot better and went out and was none the worse for wear. But that was the only time I ever used it. I did throw things at it from time to time.
Carlos Gonzalez hit a 2-run home run in the first. He walked his last time up. And the shift is back on. 3 infielders on the right-hand side for Cargo. 2-1. I don't imagine Buck's getting a ton of sleep trying to manage in the American League East. That's never a picnic. Some of the talking about facing the Rockies all the time. And the National League West is tough as well. Certainly, Dodgers, we know about them, and the Giants and the Rockies. Take a look at the Padres after this series. But he's got his hands full out there with the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Rays. There's the Finns jersey. 3-2 to Cargo. Got under that a bit. Shallow right. Parra coming in. Aaron Hill gets all turned around. But Pennington, pardon me, with a shift on. And that's the inning. So Colementor has retired 8 straight, but the Diamondbacks trail it 4-0. presented by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores, is ready to take you to a D-backs game. Just stop by this month's participating Cox retail store at Tempe Marketplace or Fry's Food Store in Cottonwood. And you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. They will take you to and from the game either May 18th or June 8th. For more information, visit foxsportsarizona.com. Jordan Lyles out there to start the bottom of the 5th. He's given up only 1 hit. He holds a 4-0 lead. He'll work to Cliff Pennington, Tony Campana, and the pitcher spot, bottom third of the Arizona order. And Lyles has been exactly what the Rockies pitching staff has needed. Keep in mind that Colorado went 8-32 last season when they used their number 4 and 5 starters. So they really had to address a need when they went out and got this guy from the Astros.
Well, he's pitched effectively in this ball game tonight. Only gave up the triple to Martin Prado back in the first inning. Although in that 4th, 3 line drive outs, we've seen some balls smoked to the warning track. He's got to start finding some holes.
And we mentioned how he's a ground ball pitcher with that 2-seamer, but I got him only at 4 ground ball outs. The Diamondbacks have been able to get it up in the air just like this one. We saw Gonzalez calling off Stubbs, but the center fielder is in charge out there, I guess.
Center fielder is supposed to be the captain of the outfield. Occasionally, glove hand will come into play.
Center fielder.
But that ball was in the air for a long time. You see him communicating out there after the fact.
And Lyles is retired 5 in a row. He'll work to Tony Campana. Keep in mind, this year the Rockies have been without Jhoulys Chacin all season long so far. He's missed the whole first month. He's been on the DL ever since spring training. He's got a right shoulder strain. He's due back any day now. And Brett Anderson, who they got from Oakland, is on the 60-day DL. He's got a broken finger on his pitching hand. And they lost Tyler Chatwood last night. He went on the DL today. And through it all, Lyles is coming here from Houston and is off to a 3-0 start. 2-0 to Campana, who tapped back to the mound his first time. Josh Colmenter, the pitcher, is on deck. They're trying to get some innings out of Josh. And boy, Bob, he's done a terrific job of settling in. He's given up a couple of really well hit balls, 2 homers, 2 doubles, but he was able to shake that off. He's retired 8 in a row. And it looked like they might have to sound the alarm bell. Trevor Cahill was warming earlier in the ball game. Sanderson Ford bullpen. Cahill is still up and ready if need be. 2-2 to Campana. Up to third, Arenado. Almost flat-footed when he threw that one.
He has plenty of arm to throw it over there flat-footed. He knew who was running down that first base line. Didn't really have enough time to take a crow hop, get his body lined up to his target, so he just fields the ball. As you said, almost flat-footed, fading away, but still gets it across just in time to get Campana.
Colmenter will take the AB. First pitch swinging, backs up Arenado. Plants, spins, throws, and he's got him. Now Jordan Lyles has retired 7 straight. Diamondbacks trail it 4-0. This Randy Johnson's perfect game against the Braves Sunday, May 18th marks the 10-year anniversary. So join the D-backs for a special pregame ceremony as we welcome Randy back to Chase Field and recognize his incredible achievement. You can be part of it. Just visit dbacks.com/tickets. Get in the car, get in your Ram truck, drive to the ballpark, and join us May 18th as we celebrate 10 years of the big units perfecto. Get the popcorn ready. Tulo is leading off the 6th. We just had the Legends race. Running Randy, galloping Gonzo, racing Gracie.
Gonzo was the winner again tonight. I think it's fixed.
Well, it took Teddy Roosevelt how many years to win in Washington?
A long time. Yeah.
And then once he won, they added a president. They went out and got Taft.
Get your first look at the sausage races up live and personal in Milwaukee.
Tremendous. I may pull a Randall Simon, walk out there with a bat. Nothing's better than cased meats running around the field. Well, in a shocking turn of events, Tulowitzki is 0 for 1. He is flat out and walked. But they got a new Bob Uecker statue at Miller Park. Little dribbler back to the mound. Colmenter pounces on it. Tulowitzki 0 for 2. They have one Bob Uecker statue outside Miller Park. They just last week unveiled another one, which is Ueck sitting on a bench, and they put it in like the very last section behind a beam in the very top back part of Miller Park. The Uecker seats.
Bingo! Must be in the front row.
Oh, is that Wetzel's Pretzels? That is the wife's favorite. Can't get her away from Wetzel's Pretzels. And it's easy to see why. You start eating those things, it's over.
I better not even start that.
She has those for dinner when she's here.
I can confirm, guilty as charged.
Yeah.
I was so excited about Wetzel's Pretzels over at U.S. Airways Center when I would go to Suns or Mercury games, and just about passed out when I walked past Section 120 and saw they were here at Chase Field. A very delicious treat.
Strikes out Morneau, so 10 straight now set down by Colmenter. And the best part about Wetzel's Pretzels is it's right underneath the press box.
Perfect.
So they start cooking those things up early afternoon, and oh boy, does it smell good up here.
Those aren't coming out of a plastic bag or something. They're cooking them up right there.
Handmade right there. The best ones I like are the little bites. And of course, you got Mike and Sharon's Cactus Corn right next door. So this is the place to be to blow the diet. How about Colmenter, Bob? 10 straight now. Hasn't given up a base hit since the top of the 3rd when Lyles homered. Blackman doubled. The Blackman double with no outs in the 3rd was their last hit. He has really settled in.
You know, we talk about it with opposing pitchers a lot, the idea of not allowing a starter to settle in on the mound, because once they get the right split between their fastball and their off-speed pitches, once they kind of get those corners wired in, they can be very tough. And that's the case with Josh Colmenter tonight. They jumped him early, took advantage of a couple pitches in the middle of the plate, but once he settled in out there and kind of found the corners of the strike zone, found that change up, he's been really good.
He's got Arenado 0 for 2 up there with a 19-game hitting streak, and now it's 2-2. Arenado was flying out twice. 3rd in the National League in hits behind Goldie and Charlie Blackman. And he's got a couple of 2 for 4s in this series. He's been much more disciplined, and this is his 2nd big league season.
If there's a flaw to be found in Arenado's game, possibly he doesn't draw a lot of walks. He's only had 3 base on balls this season.
Well, he said he wanted to be more consistent this year, and it's hard to be more consistent than a 19-game hitting streak.
Yeah.
And he knows he was up and down a little bit with a bat last year. Wants to be an impact hitter, a guy who drives in runs. That one drifts out of play.
Of course, they used to say that about Ichiro too. He doesn't walk enough. He's getting 240 hits a year.
Some of them on pitches that bounce in front of the plate.
Yeah.
We saw Starlin Castro do that earlier this year for the Cubs. 2-2. Shoots that one down the line, and Arenado has hit in 20 straight.
They made that look so easy. Pitch up and out over the plate after being tardy on a couple of fastballs. Just gets the barrel on it. Shoots it down into that right field corner. A lot of wrists and hands at the very end of that swing. Well, those are the kind of hits you need to get when you're trying to maintain a hitting streak.
20 in a row now, the longest active streak in the majors this year. And snaps Cole Mentor's streak of 10 straight retired. Here's Pacheco, who has doubled and grounded out. They wanted 100 pitches out of Josh. Randall Delgado not available tonight. Trevor Cahill was up and throwing earlier. Bullpen is quiet now for the D-backs. So it looks like they'll get at least 100 from Josh. There's a strike, 1-1. Seventh hit streak of at least 20 games in the month of April in the last century. So usually don't see guys get off to these types of starts in the first month of the season.
And generally, coming out of spring training, the pitchers are a little bit ahead of the hitters.
This is Sky to right. Parra. Cole Mentor strands the 2-out single. It stays 4-0 CenturyLink. Your link to what's next. We'll see Paul Goldschmidt hit in the home half of the 6th.
Brought to you in part by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz.
Outside Chase Field. Drive carefully.
Slow down.
Diamondbacks only one hit so far. They trail the Rockies 4-0. I think we captured a traffic accident by mistake while we were shooting that. Well, it's just been that kind of year. 4-0. Jordan Lyles has set down 7 straight D-backs. Parra 0 for 2. Parra, Prado, Goldie top of the order. Gerardo Parra's hit in 3 straight and 7 of his last 8. He was 1 for 5 last night. He's got 4 hits in the series, including his home run off lefty Franklin Morales on Monday. High in the air, easy play for Stubbs, drifting over toward left center. 1 out.
I know Lyles had 2 ground ball outs in that last half inning, but the Diamondbacks, for a guy that likes to throw that heavy sinker, are getting the ball up in the air.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's the fact that Lyles may be going away from what he normally does. I mentioned he also cuts his fastball in occasionally. He'll throw a 4-seamer up high in the zone, but generally he sticks to that 2-seam sinker, gets a lot of ground balls. Maybe he figured the Diamondbacks were looking for pitches down in the zone, so he was going to counter that by throwing a lot more cutters and 4-seamers.
Martin Prado has tripled and walked, so another good night for Martin up there. One and 0. Martin on base 4 times Monday night, a single, a triple. He's got another triple tonight. A couple of walks on Monday. He scored 3 times. Scheduled day off yesterday. 2-1. That's out of play. Still a swirling wind here at the ballpark. 3-2 to Prado. Anything high up in the air is going to drift one way or the other on you.
I don't think it's really a consistent wind, but it seems to be blowing more out toward right center and right field. Saw a pop up down the left field line that Cody Ross, initially it looked like it was going to go up in the stands. He was able to make the play right at the edge of the barrier. I think everything's kind of pushing toward right field here tonight.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up. That one will drop into right. Martin Prado on base for the 3rd time tonight.
First baseman.
Brings up Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie's 0 for 2. Diamondbacks with a chance to get something going here. A 1-out base runner for the heart of the order. There's the strike, 0-1.
How about the run Prado was on against the Rockies here? He's had 9 plate appearances, has reached base 8 times. Of course, he didn't start the ball game last night, but he did come in as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning and drew a base on balls.
Off the glove of Arenado. He looked to try to pick off Prado at first before he had the baseball. Prado is in at 3rd. You saw Arenado glance over toward first just a half second too soon, almost like a football receiver. Doesn't quite catch the ball, and it goes off the Gold Glove at 3rd.
Just got a little bit ahead of himself. Ball was hooking toward the 3rd base line. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was picking up his target in anticipation of a possible double play and just flanked off the glove on into the left field corner.
So a break for the Diamondbacks. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, 1 out for Miguel Montero.
Now batting, catcher Miguel
I mean, he was thinking
Montero.
double up as soon as the ball was on him, and it was on him in a hurry. They rule it a hit for Goldie. Miggy 0 for 2. He has flied out twice. A double for Paul Goldschmidt. That's his 12th of the year. 0-1.
We got to come away with some runs right here.
Absolutely. Bases are loaded, trying to figure out where that hit him. It made an awfully loud sound. You could hear it from up here, right on the elbow.
Yeah, I think he's got that elbow guard on. It sounded like it hit a padded area.
You could hear a click up here.
Back of that right elbow. That's his throwing arm. That's why he wears that padding on the front elbow.
And the entire Rocky organization will meet at the mound with pitching coach Jim Rice. Tommy Canely warming up, the right-hander. So the Diamondbacks with one out have the tying run at the plate and Aaron Hill.
Now batting, second.
And they have a plan for Hill. Aaron Hill is 0 for 2. He's hit it 5 straight. Talking about Bob Prado against the Rockies. Aaron Hill, career versus Colorado, a .360 hitter. Prado at third, Goldschmidt at second, Montero the runner at first.
I would anticipate that part of that meeting was reminding Jordan Lyles to use his sinker. I mentioned he's throwing a lot more cutters tonight than we're used to seeing, but in this situation they're looking for a ground ball. Starts him with a hard slider off that corner, that cutter.
Rocket off the front of the D-back dugout. Wow.
Heads up.
Penny's not a fan. Dude. Hit it that way. Goes to the same spot. He couldn't do that again if he tried. Seriously.
I don't know. Aaron Hill's pretty good about pulling that ball over in that third base dugout. The Diamondbacks had some opportunities last night. Had 3 at-bats with the bases loaded. Saw a total of 8 pitches. Did not get a runner home.
Looking for the big hit right here. Out of play. Bounced to short. Tulowitzki. They go the short way for 1. Aaron Hill beats it out. They can't turn 2. Prado scores, and the Diamondbacks are on the board. It's 4-1.
Good, hard, aggressive slide by Miggy there at second base to make sure LeMahieu did not complete that nearly impossible double play. Those middle infielders, they know how close that runner coming from first to second is, and they'll adjust accordingly. That time LeMahieu kind of came off the back of the bag at second base, couldn't get much on the throw, And Aaron Hill was able to beat it at first.
Fielder's choice and an RBI for Aaron Hill. Goldschmidt at third, Hill at first. 2 down for Cody Ross, who's 0 for 2. Cody in a 3 for 37 right now. Cody has seen a lot of the Rockies in his days with the Marlins, the Giants, and now the D-backs. 38 RBIs in 61 games against Colorado, including 8 home runs. He's the tying run at the plate with 2 outs. A ball and a strike. Dribbler back to the mound. Lyles goes to first. And that's the inning. Diamondbacks get the bases loaded. They get 1 across. And through 6, they trail it 4-1. Is finally here. It's happening all around us, so go grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out to a D-backs game and live it. It's time to live for now. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks. We back the D-backs.
Grab and go.
What you do there is you grab and then you go.
Well, you grab, you pay, you go.
Oh, well. DJ LeMahieu. First pitch swinging, rolls it to short. Clint Pennington. Sanderson Ford bullpen. Trevor Cahill's been throwing for a while now, with Josh Comenter at 95 pitches and counting.
And that pitcher spot is due up third in the bottom half of the 7th, so I'm sure Kirk Gibson hoping to get Josh Comenter through this inning so he can pick his pinch hitter, bring Trevor Cahill into the game in the 8th.
Well, for the Rockies, Jordan Lyles' night will end right here. Brandon Barnes will be the pinch hitter with a 1 out. Barnes at .333 on the year. He was in the starting lineup on Monday night. He walked and scored a run, but struck out twice, and that snapped a 7-game hit streak. Barnes' last 10 games hitting almost .430. He's the guy that came over with Lyles in the trade from the Astros. No roller, tough play for Penny, long throw! Goldie can't quite scoop it. Barnes really runs well, and he's aboard with 1 out.
Cliff did everything he could do that time. There's too much speed down that first baseline. Nice backhanded stop, off balance throw across his body. Had to go a long way across the diamond. Just couldn't quite get enough on it.
They give Barnes a base hit. Oh, he made that close against a good base runner. So a one-out runner for the Rockies. Here's the top of the order. It's Charlie Blackmon. First pitch popped him up. Foul ground, third base side. Prado calling for it. 2 down. Canley had been warming earlier. Now it's another right-hander, Matt Belisle. Drew Stubbs singled and scored in the first. And a sacrifice bunt his second time up. He's 1 for 2. So Josh about to throw his 100th pitch. So far 99, 67 for strikes. He ran into early trouble, gave up a couple of home runs, a couple of doubles. And really settled in, only 2 hits since the start of the third inning. He retired 10 straight at one point. And he has kept his team in the ballgame. Well, they wanted 100 pitches out of Comenter tonight with Delgado unavailable, and he's got them into the 7th. Roll to third. Prado. They get the force on Barnes, and that's the inning. Stretch time at Chase. Diamondbacks trail at 4-1. Joe Borowski joins us when we come back.
All right, fans.
On Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox.
Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 4-1. Joe Borowski joins us here in the booth. And Joe, it looked like it was going to be a long night for Josh Comenter. Gave up 2 doubles and 2 homers before he even recorded an out in that third inning. But then suddenly everything just seemed fixed there.
He's like a different pitcher. And the biggest thing was he got hurt by a few mistakes he made early on in the game. But he settled in nicely, started using that changeup a lot more effectively. And I thought he did a better job of moving the ball in and out as the game went on. He had 61 pitches after 3 innings, and he finishes up with just at 100. That's a great job of making an adjustment in game. And he was able to get this Diamondback team deep into this game, still with a chance to come back in this game, and more importantly, he went 7 innings.
How hard is it to do that when you get out there and you're giving up a couple of hard hit balls early and you're not locating maybe, or things aren't working the way you want? How hard an adjustment is that?
Well, you see, the pitchers who are better pitchers are able to do that. They're able to make those in-game adjustments, and that's how they get deeper in games. It's usually the younger kids who haven't been here for a long time who struggle with that. They're so used to doing something, having a game plan, and sticking with it, they're not able to make that adjustment on the fly. But you saw Josh did a great job of making that adjustment tonight.
Yeah, through innings 1, 2, and 3, 4 runs on 5 hits. There were 7 base runners, but the rest of his outing, no runs on 2 hits, and only 2 guys reached base against him.
Matt Belisle, the veteran right-hander, is the new Rockies pitcher. He walks Pennington to open the 7th, and now here's Tony Campana. D-backs once again looking for base runners here. Just can't get that one big hit. The numbers on Matt Belisle, his 13th appearance, an ERA over 6.5. It's been a rough season so far. But he jumps ahead of Campana. 0-2. Tony up there, 1 for his last 29. Pitcher spot is due up next. A.J. Pollock is in the on-deck circle. Called strike 3. One out. They have recalled Pollock now. And Eric Chavez is walking up there. AJ was in the on-deck circle a moment ago. Now they've changed their mind, so it'll be Chavez versus Belisle. There's a strike. Chavez 2 for 4 last night in the loss to the Rockies. He had a walk, a pair of singles, scored a run, an RBI. Very productive night. But Belisle jumps ahead 0-2.
Joey, getting back to Josh Coleman for just a minute.
Yeah.
It seems to me like guys who feature the changeup the way Josh does, it usually does take them an inning or 2 to settle in and get the right split between the fastball and the change. And I think, at least to me, that looked like the case in the early going tonight.
Yeah, I thought he was a little erratic with his control, and that's not normally something that we see from Josh. Usually he's pretty pinpoint with his control, but he did leave a few balls up. And how Josh is as a pitcher is he doesn't have that devastating fastball. He relies a lot on deception and being able to locate well. And when you struggle like that, that's the result. But he was able to correct it, and that's why he was able to last so long in this game.
And unfortunately, this is the wrong team to make mistakes against.
Yeah.
They make you pay.
Well, the Diamondbacks with just 3 hits tonight. Campana and Chavez have struck out following the walk to Pennington to open the inning. Here's Parra 0 for 3.
And you also know, Joe, that when things are going good, you can make a mistake. You can hang a changeup belt high right over the middle of the plate, and the guy will pop it straight up in the infield. When things are going bad, they always seem to find holes.
When that ball will go foul by an inch.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks got to find a way to make their own luck right now.
0-2. Well, they have had their chances. The ball that went off Arenado's glove in the previous inning that Goldie hit. Had a chance, couldn't get the big hit. Leadoff walk here in the 7th, but so far 2 outs and an 0-2 count on Parra. Boy, Pacheco really moves well back there. Quickly slides out to block that one, keep Pennington at first base. I mean, he looks like a middle infielder here, not a catcher, which is what he was coming up.
I mentioned last night, physically, he bears a strong resemblance to Robbie Hammock. You know, same physical build, you know, kind of that middle infielder looking body, but really moves around well behind the plate.
A ball and 2 strikes to Gerardo Parra.
And as a pitcher, that's what you want behind the plate, especially with guys on base. You want a catcher, you know if you bury it, he's going to block it. Tendencies as a pitcher, if you have a catcher that you're so not sure of defensively, you might leave a breaking ball up a little bit because you don't want to get in the dirt. That's when you get hurt.
Called strike 3. Belisle walks Pennington to open the inning and then strikes out Campana, Chavez, and Parra in order. Joe, thanks. We'll see you on Diamondbacks Live with Todd after the ball game.
All right, guys.
Air conditioning, cool play of the game. This is the final out of the 6th, and coming back to the dugout, it's Parra. Campana, keep your eye on the ball here. Just a little friendly game to catch on the move. Cody Ross. Prado with Pennington finally finds a kid. That's our Chaz Roberts air conditioning. Cool play of the game. Quick hands coming off the field.
That's very cool.
Well, Josh Cole enters 7 innings of work tonight, his most since September of 2011 versus the Giants when he also went 7. He threw 100 pitches, his most in a ball game since July of 2012. So good work by Josh despite the early trouble. And on for the 9th time this year is Trevor Cahill. He'll work the 8th against Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, and Morneau, the sharp end of the Colorado order. Cargo a 2-run homer in the first. He walked in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Right to Goldie guarding the line. 1 away. Hey fans, as promised earlier in the game, Bob Brenly and Greg Schulte have consulted. They've gotten together. They had a confab, as it were, and they've come up with our AT&T fan photo of the game from Jordan. Very festive picture.
Yeah, that was a governor's pick.
A reminder, fans, your fan photo. Just send it out there on the Twitter. Use the hashtag AZFanPhoto, and you might see it on an upcoming game broadcast. He's scrolling through some pictures right now. Got the governor on the headsets. I think that's Joe, the hot dog guy, in front of him. Sky high, center, or shallow center, now drifting in towards second is Aaron Hill. The wind got that one. There's Joe. He survived the D-bat dog. He's back for more. Right in the middle of your picture there.
First baseman Justin Morneau.
He actually sent out a tweet the next day, kind of lamenting the fact that he's now known as the hot dog guy. But when you eat a 15-foot-long hot dog, that's going to happen, and you do it on television. Keeping Aaron Hill busy. Morneau, boy, probably swung at another first pitch there. Joe, it's happening again. On Fox Sports 1 is back with a doubleheader as the Cubs renew their rivalry with Matt Holliday and the Cardinals. And then it's reigning AL MVP Miguel Cabrera and the Detroit Tigers squaring off against the Kansas City Royals. The action starts at 10 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. New pitcher for the Rockies. He's still wearing number 0. It's Adam Ottavino. He's on to work the 8th against Prado, Goldie, and Montero, 2, 3, and 4. His 15th appearance with a .73 ERA. When your ERA starts with a 0, you can be number 0.
Yeah.
It's working. Good night for Martin Prado. He tripled in the first, walked in the third, singled and scored the Diamondbacks' only run of the night back in the 6th.
Just a fastball slider combination from Ottavino, but you'll see as many sliders as you will fastballs. Doesn't really throw any kind of an off-speed pitch. The slider is in the low to mid 80s, the fastball in the low to mid 90s.
Well, we saw Ottavino in the series opener on Monday, and this is the part of the order actually when he came on in the 7th that gave him some trouble. He walked Prado, Goldie singled, Montero singled. He got a double play ball out of Hill but gave up a run, and he's working to the same part of the order here. Shoots that down the right field line, but it's out of play, and Kirk Farley is there. Actually, it's a little out of Kirk's range. So give an assist to Morneau. Back with you on Friday. Opener of a long road trip. We'll see you from Petco Park in San Diego. Called strike 3. Fox Sports Supports is a proud partner of AYSO's 50th anniversary celebration, including AYSO Soccer Fest 14, the biggest pickup game on earth. You can join in the fun by signing up at ayso.org. One out, here's Goldschmidt. He doubled his last time up, a rocket that went off the glove of Arenado at third.
Only one strikeout for Jordan Lyles through the first 6 innings of this game, but the last 4 Diamondbacks hitters have gone down on strikes.
Lyle walked Pennington to lead off the 7th, then got the side in order on strikeouts, and now Ottavino has gotten Prado to open the 8th. 1-1 to Goldie. Goldie 5 hits in the series. 1 for 3 tonight with a double. Well, that's the same pitch on which he struck out Prado. Kind of buckled Goldschmidt there to get the strike. It's 1-2. Wants it up. Missed the spot by just a tad.
Just a bit.
2-2.
Probably go right back to that slider again.
Goldie drives it high and deep and out of here. Paul Goldschmidt, his 4th homer, and it's a 4-2 ball game.
Good to see. It had been a while for Goldie, starting to drive that ball a little bit more. That was that flat slider that stayed over the middle of the plate. He absolutely crushed it to right field.
First home run in over 50 plate appearances for Paul Goldschmidt, his 4th of the year. RBI number 18, and it's a 4-2 game. Here's Miggy. Boy, anything that's on that outer half, the edge of the plate, he is going to drive it the other way and take you deep.
Well, especially with 2 strikes. That's when he's a little more defensive, lets the ball get just a little deeper in the hitting zone. Tremendous opposite field power.
Miggy's hit in 4 straight and 10 of his last 11. Another look at Goldie.
We're talking about simplify, no wasted motion whatsoever.
And you can see him adjust right there, too. Give it that extra half a beat. 1-1. Very high to shallow left. Tulowitzki, that's up in that wind. And that's the second out.
Second baseman, Aaron Hill.
Aaron Hill, an RBI fielder's choices last time. He's 0 for 3. There's no easy out in this Colorado lineup, but the good news is, at least in terms of the ninth inning, is that the heart of the order, Cargo, Tulo, Morneau, have already been retired by Trevor Cahill, who had a terrific eighth inning on 5 pitches. Aaron Hill ahead 2-0. Three balls and a strike. Another one almost went into the radio booth. Tom Candiotti, by the way, still has the baseball that went in there a couple of nights ago.
He doesn't know the rule. You're supposed to give it to a kid.
He's got it like a trophy. He could give it to Leo Gilmartin.
Yeah, there it is right there above the O in Arizona, sitting on the table right there next to his beverages.
3-2. That ball is well hit to left. Doesn't have enough. It's up in that wind. It's going to knock it down. And Cargo has it at the track. Hill gave it a ride. But Paul Goldschmidt's ball got out of here. Goldie's 4th of the year, and as we head to the 9th, it's a 4-2 Rockies lead. Matchup, off day tomorrow. Back with you from San Diego on Friday. It's Bronson Arroyo versus Andrew Kashner over the Padres. And as Cindy Brunson reported earlier, good news on Bronson Arroyo's blood test after he complained of fatigue and kind of a virus sick cold feeling. Got all clear. The back is good. The health is good. Arroyo should be good to go. Trevor Cahill outstanding in the 8th inning. Boy, just mowed him down. The heart of the order, Cargo, Tulo, Morneau. And now he'll work to Arenado, Pacheco, and LeMahieu, 6, 7, and 8 in the Rockies' 9th.
Yeah, that first out in the 8th inning was a 3 unassisted. Paul Goldschmidt taking it himself to the bag, which gives him 26 on the season. Once again, far and away leading the majors.
You get an extra little kick out of that
I
stat.
do. I love that. I don't understand why more first basemen don't do that. Why risk a throw? You got a pitcher running over there trying to find the ball, find the base, stay inside the baseline.
Well, not every guy is as athletic as Goldie. He's very quick over there, quick feet. And so Cahill, after a 5-pitch 8th inning, is even with Arenado, 2-2. See the wind gusting down on the field in Trevor's jersey there. It is really howling right now. Yes, he went. There's the strikeout. 1 away. Fans, follow every D-backs game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. You'll get live look-ins, instant replay, score, stats, audio, a free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. So download on the App Store or visit dbacks.com today. Do we have rally monkeys?
Apparently we do now. At least one.
Jordan Pacheco, the catcher, looks at ball 1. Pacheco doubled in the second. He's 1 for 3. Duck and cover on that breaking ball. 2-0. Stay alert down there. It's full 3-2. DJ LeMahieu 0 for 3, the second baseman on deck. Pitcher spot is after that. 3-2 pitch. Bounce to third. Prado. 5 up, 5 down against Trevor Cahill.
Second baseman, DJ LeMahieu.
Here's LeMahieu, who's hit in 5 straight. Like Ron, big fan of Ron Culpa's mechanic. He's one of those no doubters. Not too many of these guys left. Gives you the quick, emphatic call. Some of these guys, it's like American Idol. You know, they draw it out.
Leslie Nielsen
sees the moment. Culpa just gives you the quick. 2 balls and 1 strike. Leslie Nielsen, of course, was from the movie, right? What was the name of that?
Naked Gun?
Yeah, Naked Gun.
Yeah. Moonwalking and doing all kinds of stuff on his called strikes at Dodger Stadium. Tell you, for Cahill, it's been 4 days since he last threw that meltdown against the Phillies, but his stuff looks very crisp tonight. Good late movement on the sinker. Throwing some good curveballs in this game.
Just outside there, and it's 3-2. Yeah, how about a 1-2-3-8 on 5 pitches? The strikeout against Arenado to open the ninth. Ground out by Pacheco. Now 3-2 on LeMahieu. Two strikeouts in the ninth. 6 up, 6 down against Trevor Cahill. He sends us to the bottom of the ninth. Diamondbacks down 4-2. So, boy, in-game box score. Diamondbacks looking for some offense here. 2 hits for Prado, 2 hits including a home run for Goldie.
It's pretty tough to bunch 4 hits and make them work, especially against an offense like the Rockies have been featuring in this series. A lot of zeros on that board.
Well, Rex Brothers, the new pitcher, going to try and keep it that way. The left-hander on for the second night in a row. We saw Brothers working the ball game last night. He worked a 1-2-3 7th. Got Parra, Goldschmidt, and Montero.
Apparently LaTroy Hawkins with the night off tonight after saving the first 2 games of this series. Threw a total of 23 pitches in those 2 appearances, but it's left-hander Rex Brothers on here tonight.
And that's a good omen for Cody Ross, who had so much success last year against left-hand pitching. He'll lead it off in the ninth. Ross, Pennington, Campana, 6, 7, and 8. And Cody looking for that big hit to snap that 3 for 38. Saw the beginning of the process, Bob. We talked about how Cody Ross was out here taking early hitting, not batting practice. This is before batting practice. Working hard with Aaron Hill, trying to get that swing tuned in. And now here we are in the ninth, and he's standing in that same spot. He was there, what, probably, well, 7 hours ago.
Yeah.
He's ahead 2-0. That one is down in left field. Leadoff man aboard. And the Diamondbacks get the tying run to the plate with no outs in the ninth.
Good to see Cody finally get some reward for all the hard work he's been putting in. His timing is just a little bit off. I don't think there's mechanically anything wrong with his swing, but his timing had been just a little tardy until that at bat right there.
Cliff Pennington has walked twice tonight. He's 0 for 1. That's out of play. Tony Campana is the next scheduled hitter following Pennington, but with a lefty out there, they'll recall Campana and send A.J. Pollock back out into the on-deck circle. Popped him up. Tulowitzki fighting that win. So with one out and Ross aboard at first, Pollock will hit for Campana.
Number 11, A.J. Pollock.
A.J. 1 for 3 last night. That long home run high off the left field foul pole in the 8th inning, his 3rd of the year. And A.J., after a slow start, has turned in a solid month of April. He's hit over 300 for his last 20 games, including 16 starts. And he is slugging better than .550 during that span. He's hit some line drives. This was A.J. last night in the 8th. This was Goldie-esque.
No doubt about it. Just absolutely crushed a Boone Logan fastball right down the middle of the plate. The only question was fair or foul. And fortunately for A.J. and the D-backs, it hit the pole.
0-2. Able to hold off there for a ball. A.J., good track record against the Rockies. 28 career games. He's at .315, including 4 homers. Right to LeMahieu at second. They can't get the double play. Pollock beats it out, and the Diamondbacks are still alive. LeMahieu knocked that down, but it was hit so hard and right at him that he had time to recover and get the force on Cody.
Looked like a bullet right at LeMahieu. He just had to kind of knock that one down with his chest. But as you mentioned, it was hit so hard, and with Troy Tulowitzki's throwing arm, they thought they still had a chance to turn 2, but A.J. Pollock able to leg out that fielder's choice.
So with a pitcher spot due up, we'll see Chris Owings. Tying run at the plate, 2 outs in the 9th. There's the strike, 0-1.
4 previous at bats this season as a pinch hitter for Chris. He 1 for 4.
Chris Owings, the 22-year-old from Gilbert, South Carolina, got the starting shortstop job when spring training ended, and he has responded. He's hit .305 for his first month, getting on base at a .360 clip. Base hit. It's down the right field line. Pollock takes the turn and heads for third, and Owings is in at second. Tying runs are in scoring position for the D-backs.
The hustle by Chris Owings gets himself into scoring position here, representing the tying run. Never hesitated, hard out of the batter's box, hard into that head first slide. Oh, the base hit, the D-backs have a chance to tie this game.
And it's up to Gerardo Parra. A.J. Pollock at third, Owings the tying run at second. 2 outs, Parra 0 for 4. He struck out looking his last time up.
Nobody warming in the Colorado bullpen. Occasionally when you don't use your regular closer to close a game, you get somebody up behind him just in case things come unglued. But Walt Weiss apparently has confidence that Rex Brothers can get the last out.
Brothers faced Parra in the 7th inning last night. Got him to ground out to second.
That's 2 in a row. Well, not for the agility of Jordan Pacheco behind the plate, this game could be tied. He's blocked 2 pitches that hit 5 feet in front of home plate.
A lefty-righty splits. Parra a $182 against left-handers this year. But he's ahead 2-0. Another one's in the dirt, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. You got Prado on deck. He's been on base 3 times tonight. A walk, a single, and a triple. There's the strike, 3-1.
Well, Rex Brothers better consider taking Jordan Pacheco out for lunch tomorrow. Possibly saved the ball game here in this bottom half of the 9th inning. 2 runners on base. He's blocked 3 pitches in the dirt.
Hit him. Winning runs aboard.
That one must have got him pretty good. Gerardo Parra normally doesn't recognize getting hit by a pitch. That one looked like it caught him on the right elbow. Stays down for a moment in that batter's box. Maybe the right forearm, possibly.
He's still down at first. They run his oven mitt out there too, but Parra was crouched down in the bag. Now he's up. That one shook him up. Jim Wright, the pitching coach.
Now batting, third baseman, Martin Prado.
Nobody is up in the Diamondback bullpen. It's a 4-2 ball game in the bottom of the 9th. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Rex Brothers will work to Martin Prado. A.J. Pollock's at third. Chris Owings is the tying run at second. Gerardo Parra the winning run at first. Prado 2 for 3, a single and a triple. He scored a run. There's the strike, 0-1. Out of play. Drew Stubbs, the center fielder, is shaded well over toward right center for Prado. Oh, 0-2. Big hit they've waited for.
Martin had been 0 for 6 lifetime against left-hander Rex Brothers. Takes this changeup right through the wickets into center field. Great speed on at second base in Chris Owings. Scores easily ahead of the throw from Drew Stubbs. That throw hit the backside of the mound, shot straight up in the air.
And now Goldie's up with a winning run at second and 2 outs. It's a getaway day. Goldie is 2 for 4. He doubled in the 6th and homered his last time up. Hitless career against Rex Brothers.
Not an easy at bat when you've got a guy on the mound that's spraying him around the way Rex Brothers is. He's bounced some pitches 5 feet in front of home plate. He's thrown some head-high fastballs. He hit Gerardo Parra.
One and 2. Goldie's 6 hits in the series. One more and the Diamondbacks are walking off. Will go to extras. They strand 2, but they get 2. Through 9 here at Chase. It's the Rockies 4 and the Diamondbacks 4. Presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Feed it. Extra innings at Chase Field, and the closer is back on, Addison Reed, after the home run he gave up to Drew Stubbs in the 9th last night. Similar situation. It was a tie ball game. This time it's the 10th. He's on for the 14th time. Use the closer in a tie ball game at home, right?
That's conventional wisdom. Just try to save the tie. You get the last at bats in the ball game. A.J. Pollock stays in after pinch hitting for Tony Campana. He'll play center field, and the Rockies, with the pitcher spot due up, are going to counter with the left-handed hitting Corey Dickerson here to lead it off in the 10th.
So the Diamondbacks down 4-1, get 1 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th to tie it up and send us to extras. Another big game for Martin Prado. He was on base 4 times Monday, a single, a triple, a pair of walks. He scored 3 times. And tonight, Prado, a triple, a walk, a single, another single. He scored a run. He drove in 2. A big 2-out, 2-run single in the 9th to tie it up. Gerardo Parra was hit right there, just above the elbow, it appeared, by that pitch, and he is still hurting out there in right field. They have Ender Inciarte called up today from AAA Reno. Roger Kieschnick was sent down, so Inciarte is an option, certainly defensively. If Parra can't go, he's really hurting out there. Reed ahead of Dickerson, 0-2. And Inciarte is a guy that's a lot like Gerardo Parra. Really strong throwing arm, excellent defender, really good speed, and a nice left-hand bat they like a lot. He's feeling it. A ball and 2 strikes. Little flare to shallow left. Here comes Cody. It's off the glove, and Dickerson is in at second. Little dying quail out there, and Cody couldn't quite get a handle on it.
Off the fingertips of the glove right there as he went into a slide in left field.
They put a double up on the scoreboard.
It's a little cue shot by Dickerson. Full swing, but didn't hit that ball particularly hard. That'll freeze an outfielder initially when you see the big swing, and then when he doesn't make solid contact, the ball just gets out there and dives.
Well, Diamondbacks 2-0 in extra innings this season, trying to make it a perfect 3-0. But the Rockies have the go-ahead run in scoring position, nobody out. And here's Charlie Blackmon. Now, this is where things get tricky against these Colorado Rockies. Blackmon began the day leading the National League in hitting at .379. He's 1 for 4.
Game 1 of this series, he tried to bunt for a base hit in a sacrifice situation, showing bunt that time on the first delivery from Addison Reed.
Diamondbacks last year went 10-2 in extra innings on travel days. 3-0 at home, 7-2 on the road. Addison Reed, Prado will call him off and make a strong throw as Dickerson moves up 90 feet.
Center fielder Drew Stubbs.
Brings up Drew Stubbs. And you know what happened last night when these two met? Just hung a slider.
Out over the plate. I mentioned earlier, Drew Stubbs in his days with the Cincinnati Reds was considered a dead pull hitter, but has really driven the ball to the opposite field last night and again here today.
Stu Cole down there with Drew Stubbs. Mike Harkey to the mound with the entire D-backs infield. Cargo, the on-deck hitter. And Ron Koblau to the mound to break this up. Stubbs singled and scored in the first tonight. He's 1 for 3.
Stubbs is a strikeout candidate. You have to execute your pitches, obviously, and hopefully jump ahead in the count to make him a little more defensive. It would give you the option of either pitching around or walking cargo, but then you got to face Troy Tulowitzki.
See Goldie well in on the grass, along with Aaron Hill on the right side of the infield. There's a strike.
And when DJ LeMahieu hits second in the Rockies lineup where Drew Stubbs is tonight, I would anticipate a squeeze. LeMahieu, really good bunter, handles the bat well. I don't know if they would ask Drew Stubbs to put down a squeeze bunt.
That's more his style right there.
Yeah, he will definitely expand his own strike zone, especially down in an 0-2 hole.
Just like that. 2 outs. Addison Reed trying to pick up his defense behind him after the ball went off Cody's glove and left.
Left fielder Carlos Gonzalez.
But he'll have to get Carlos Gonzalez to do it. Cargo a 2-run homer in the first. And the shift is on. Prado on the grass at third. Pennington, Hill, Goldschmidt all on the grass on the right hand side. Oh, 1. Oh, 2. Go ahead run at third. 2 outs in the 10th.
With 2 strikes, Martin Prado moves over to a straight up shortstop position. Corey Dickerson is halfway down the line at third. Now he shortens up a little bit as Prado kind of bluffs over toward third base.
Reed's got to be very careful about a balk here. Dickerson trying to shake him up a bit. There's no one on the bag at third. And Dickerson taking advantage. Here's the 0-2. That's lifted along the line and left, but drifting into the seats. Center field, Pollock. Addison Reed strands that leadoff double and sends us to the home half of the 10th at a 4-4 ball game.
bottom 10 in the finale of the 3-game series. New pitcher for the Rockies is the right-hander Tommy Kahnle. His 11th appearance, a 1.29 ERA. We saw Kahnle back on Monday in the series opener. He worked 1 inning, gave up just 1 hit. There's Baxter keeping him going.
Santa Baxter. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. Interesting call there. Well, looking for a little Christmas gift, a Diamondback win in extras to start the road trip. Miguel Montero, Aaron Hill, and Cody Ross 4, 5, and 6 against Kahnle in the D-backs 10th. And Miggy will get us started.
If Miggy happens to get on base, we might see the major league debut of Ender Inciarte.
He can run, too. He's a big stolen base threat, a guy they like a lot. And we saw Kirk Gibson do that last night, pitch running for Miguel Montero after that 9th inning single. He brought in Pennington. But you got to get on base first, so here's Miggy 0 for 3.
Kind of a deceptive 0 for 3. He swung the bat well his first 2 times up. Deep fly ball to center field, chasing Stubbs all the way back to the warning track, and then lined out to third base in his second at bat.
Montero has hit safely in 4 straight and 10 of his last 11. A ball and a strike.
Just as a public service announcement, only 164 more shopping days left until Christmas. Don't wait.
It's especially noteworthy for those of you who also have to plan for a 40th wedding anniversary present. Don't leave that one off the calendar.
Tough one. You know, my normal anniversary gift is shower cap, shampoo, conditioner, soap from the hotel, but I don't think that'll float for number 40.
Well, we got a pair of the D-back slippers back here. 1 and 2. Miguel Montero sends everybody home. His first career walk-off homer, and the Diamondbacks win it 5-4. We talked about it, Bob, at the top of the show. Miguel Montero in the cleanup spot has been a difference maker for the Diamondbacks.
Boy, just playing with so much more confidence this year. Swing is very short and quick. Get the barrel on the ball and drove it out of here to right field. Nice going, Miggy.
Miggy, 14 games in the cleanup spot, 11 RBIs, and his RBI tonight, the solo homer, his 3rd of the year, his first career walk-off, is the game winner. And he's down there with Cindy Brunson.
How about your Miguel Montero? Miggy, that was your first career walk-off hit. How does it feel?
It feels awesome.
Take me through the at-bat. What did you see?
The fastballs. Honestly, I was probably trying too hard the first couple of swings. And then I told myself just to shorten up a little bit. And, of course, these throws hard. I had to kind of just put a good swing on it.
Did you know that you had never had a walk-off hit career?
Of course I knew that.
So now I take you back a week ago today. you gave an endorsement to both your manager and your general manager, and you set the tone for this ball club. When you take the road on this 10-game road trip, what is your message to your team?
Well, don't stop believing in us, because we still believe it and we can do it. And, we're always positive, and we're going to make history.
You heard it from your catcher, Miguel Montero. A perfect way to end the month of April. I will kick it up to Todd Walsh and Joe Borowski. Fellas?
Cindy, we appreciate that. Our coverage of Diamondbacks Live, the post-game show, sort of officially begins here. And, Joe, I will tell you what, it's hard to take somebody seriously that's standing there with mud all over them and a bubblegum hat.
Great sight to see, though.
It was. It was a sight of relief, a sight of joy, of hard work completed, because they never stopped working tonight, right?
And that's the thing, is they finally found a way, Todd, to win a close game. And hopefully this will be a stepping stone to maybe a good winning streak for them.
All right, we will break it down as best we can here tonight. Cindy will be inside the Diamondbacks room before they depart for their road trip. We'll hear from Diamondbacks manager Kirk Gibson. Bob Brenly will check in a matter of moments as well. So Diamondbacks Live, presented by CenturyLink, is underway. 5-4, the walk-off in 10. How good does that look? And I think you just heard how good it feels. We'll be back in a matter of moments.